Dear audience, have you ever wondered what the most accurate measure of a person's true character is? Sometimes, we are easily impressed by eloquent words or grand gestures, but a person's true nature is most clearly revealed in silent moments when no one is watching. It is often said that character is not defined by what we display in front of others, but by our choices when no one is paying attention. In life, small yet significant signs help us recognize someone's true self. It could be the way they treat a waiter at a restaurant, how they react in times of difficulty, or even the small decisions they make in daily life, without seeking recognition. These behaviors reflect their mindset and ethics and reveal the deeper essence of who they truly are. So, how can we truly see through a person? Let's explore 5 distinctive behaviors that can help you identify a person's genuine character. Because sometimes, the smallest details reveal the most about human nature. 1. Honesty. The foundation of lasting relationships. A person's character is not only revealed through eloquent words or grand decisions, but is most clearly reflected in the small, everyday actions they take. Sometimes, insignificant things serve as the most truthful mirror of a person's morals, values, and reliability. For instance, does someone truly keep their promises? Not just the major commitments, but even the simplest ones, such as calling back when they said they would, arriving on time for an appointment, or completing a small task they agreed to do. Those who consistently honor their word, no matter the promise is minor, tend to be responsible and trustworthy. On the other hand, if someone repeatedly breaks their word, even with no severe consequences, it may indicate a lack of respect for others and a disregard for trust. Honesty is not just about spoken words. It is also reflected in the smallest actions, especially when no one is watching. It cannot be easily declared. Rather, it is a quality that naturally manifests in daily life. A person's honesty is not determined by the grand promises they make or the principles they proclaim in front of others, but by how they act when no one observes or evaluates them. Think of those seemingly small moments that serve as a true test of honesty. When they see a piece of trash on a shared workspace, do they quietly pick it up and dispose of it? Or do they pretend not to notice and leave it for someone else to handle? If a cashier accidentally gives them extra change, do they return the excess or keep it, thinking of it as a lucky break? When using a shared item, do they handle it carefully so the next person can still use it properly? Or do they neglect it, leaving it damaged without concern? These small behaviors may seem trivial, but they carry significant weight in revealing a person's true nature. Honesty is not something that only appears in major decisions or important situations. A person who is habitually honest in the smallest matters is likelier to be trustworthy in greater responsibilities. After all, honesty is not a trait that can be switched on and off at will. It is a fundamental principle that remains constant. So, if you truly want to understand someone, do not just listen to what they say about themselves. Observe how they behave in everyday life, in unimportant moments, but ultimately reveal the most about who they truly are. 2. Genuine kindness. When there is no expectation. One of the most accurate measures of a person's character is how they treat others when there is nothing to gain. True kindness does not stem from a desire for praise or reciprocity, but from an inherent sense of compassion and goodwill. You can see this most clearly by observing how someone interacts with those who cannot offer them any benefit in return. Do they speak to a waiter with the same respect they would show a business partner? Are they polite to the janitor cleaning the floors, the taxi driver, or the cashier at the supermarket? These small gestures may seem insignificant, but they reveal much about a person's kindness and humility. True kindness is not about grand gestures or actions performed merely to receive praise. It lies in the simplest things, the small yet powerful acts that ripple far beyond what we can see. It could be offering a seat to an elderly person on the bus, even when you are exhausted after a long day, or holding the door open for someone behind you despite being in a rush. It is when you take the time to listen to someone's story without interrupting, even when your schedule is tight. Sometimes even a sincere smile to a stranger can brighten their day and give them hope amid a difficult time. Real kindness does not seek recognition. It does not require attention or applause. A truly kind person does not act generously because someone is watching, but because kindness is an inherent part of who they are. They help not to impress, but because they understand that small gestures can make a significant difference. A few words of encouragement at the right moment, an unexpected act of care, or simply showing patience to someone struggling, these things can change someone's life in ways we may never fully realize. More importantly, kindness is not just a series of isolated actions, but a way of living and treating others. When kindness comes from the heart, it does not need a stage, an audience, or validation. It moves quietly, yet persistently, passing from one person to another, creating a world where people treat each other sincerely and compassionately. 3. Reactions to praise and criticism. A reflection of strength. How a person responds to praise and criticism reveals a great deal about their strength of character and maturity. Praise can be a valuable form of recognition, offering motivation and a sense of appreciation. However, it can also fuel the ego, leading to arrogance or complacency. Those with strong and mature personalities accept praise with humility without letting it cloud their judgment. They appreciate recognition and know how to redirect the spotlight to the collective effort, acknowledging the contributions of those around them rather than solely focusing on their own achievements. On the other hand, how one reacts to criticism serves as a true test of confidence and emotional control. When faced with negative feedback, do they listen, reflect, and seek ways to improve, or do they immediately react defensively? A truly strong individual views positive and negative remarks as opportunities for growth, learning from mistakes, and striving to improve. In contrast, harsh reactions, attacks, or outright denial often indicate insecurity, revealing that the person may not be ready to confront their weaknesses. Not only is the way a person receives feedback important, but how they give feedback also serves as a clear reflection of their character. Someone with a constructive mindset does not criticize or belittle others, but knows how to offer feedback sincerely, thoughtfully, and with a spirit of contribution. They understand that well-intended remarks can help others improve, provide inspiration, and open opportunities for self-betterment. Their feedback is not an attack or an imposition, but is rooted in respect and a genuine desire to help others grow. Conversely, some use criticism to assert dominance or undermine others. Their feedback is not meant to build, but to prove their superiority or satisfy their ego. They may use sarcasm, lack a supportive spirit, and even make the recipient feel insulted or discouraged. This reflects a lack of goodwill and reveals personal motives rather than a true intention to help. How someone reacts to praise and criticism reveals much about their maturity and confidence. A mentally strong person receives praise with humility, not allowing it to cloud their judgment or inflate their ego. At the same time, they accept criticism with composure, analyzing it objectively rather than reacting defensively or with anger. Ultimately, how a person handles feedback, praise or criticism, showcases their strength and reflects their maturity, self-respect, and approach to relationships. A truly confident individual does not fear criticism because they see it as an opportunity for growth, not a threat to their self-worth. 4. Power and status. A true test of character. Power does not merely provide leadership opportunities. It also acts as a magnifying glass that amplifies a person's true nature. When someone holds control, their leadership abilities become more evident, but so does how they treat others. Do they lead with empathy, fairness, and humility? How a person wields power speaks volumes about their character. Do they use their position to uplift others, creating growth opportunities? Or do they exploit it to dominate, control, and belittle those who are weaker? The way they treat people with less power, subordinates, service workers, or those who cannot offer them any benefits, is one of the most revealing tests of their true nature. True leaders do not see power as a tool for dominance, but as a privilege to help others and create value for the collective. They foster an environment where people feel heard, respected, and allowed to grow. In contrast, those corrupted by power often make decisions solely for personal gain, speak with condescension, and act out of oppression rather than cooperation. One of the most precise indicators is how they interact with lower status people. Do they remain respectful and patient when speaking to a waiter, a janitor, or anyone needing assistance? Or do they display rudeness, contempt, and a lack of regard? Power does not change a person's nature. It simply magnifies and reveals what already exists within them. It acts as a mirror, reflecting either generosity or selfishness, integrity or personal ambition. When someone gains control, they do not merely showcase their leadership skills. They also expose their attitude toward others. People with ethics and responsibility will see power as a tool to create positive change, uplift others, provide growth opportunities, and ensure fairness in their environment. Conversely, if someone lacks compassion and prioritizes self-interest above all else, power will only make them more authoritarian, manipulative, and exploitative of their position. Look at true leaders. They do not need to wield power to force obedience. Instead, they inspire and cultivate an environment where people feel valued and respected, and understand that power is a privilege that comes with responsibility. They recognize that how they use it leaves a lasting impact, not only on their career, but also on those around them. In contrast, those corrupted by power often decide solely to solidify their status, disregarding the greater good. They may adjust their behavior depending on whom they interact with, showing kindness to those above them while displaying indifference or even disdain toward those below. If you truly want to assess a person's character, do not just observe how they interact with colleagues or superiors. Instead, pay attention to how they treat those who offer them no advantage: a restaurant server, a janitor, or someone needing help. Do they maintain respect and kindness even when there is no incentive? Do they show patience, listen, and extend a helping hand when no one is watching? Or do they act condescending, arrogant, and indifferent when they feel no obligation to maintain an image? These seemingly small actions are the most accurate measure of a person's true nature. Character is not defined by grand moments in the public eye, but by the choices a person makes when they have control and are unbound by the expectations of others. 5. Hardship, a mirror reflecting true character. Hardship is an inevitable part of life, carrying immense value beyond mere struggle. It helps us grow and allows us to understand ourselves more deeply. Under ideal circumstances, it is easy to display our best qualities. However, only when we face adversity is a person's real nature revealed most clearly. Think of someone you know who has gone through a significant challenge. Perhaps they lost their job, experienced heartbreak, or faced a painful life event. What stands out most about them in your memory? Was it their composure, ability to adapt and find solutions, or the sense of responsibility they maintained even in difficult times? Or did they react by placing blame, losing their temper, avoiding responsibility, and allowing negativity to take control? Hardship does not create strengths or weaknesses. It merely exposes what already exists within a person. Those with integrity and resilience handle challenges in a fundamentally different way. They do not shy away from responsibility, no matter how difficult the situation may be. They dare to acknowledge their mistakes, not because it is easy, but because they understand that true growth only comes when one is willing to take accountability and learn from failure. On the other hand, some people react less constructively. They may lose their temper quickly, vent their frustrations on others, or seek ways to escape accountability. However, this is not because life is too harsh on them. Challenges serve as a mirror, reflecting their inner values and true character. Beyond revealing a person's nature, hardship also tests perseverance. It raises a crucial question. What will you do when an easier path presents itself? Will you stand firm in your values and principles, even if it means taking the harder road? Or will you lower your standards and abandon commitments just to avoid inconvenience? Those who persevere do not simply endure adversity. They adapt, learn, and, most importantly, carry those lessons forward to grow. Their character is not defined by a single moment of effort, but by a consistent rising pattern after every fall. And remember, hardship does not always come in the form of grand crises. Sometimes, it appears as silent battles, a person relentlessly pursuing their dream, despite repeated rejections, a parent making quiet sacrifices for their child, or a friend who dares to speak the truth instead of offering easy reassurances. It is in these moments that character is truly forged and revealed. Ultimately, a person's true nature is not found in eloquent words or carefully crafted images they present to the world, but in their small, consistent actions, especially when no one is watching. Words can be polished and rehearsed, but choices made in silent moments, when there is nothing to gain, cannot be hidden. If you truly want to understand someone, do not just listen to what they say. Observe how they live and respond in different situations. When faced with adversity, do they remain composed, take responsibility, and confront challenges head-on? Or do they quickly shift blame and avoid accountability? When given power, do they use it to uplift others, create opportunities, and foster growth? Or do they seek to control, manipulate, and serve only their interests? A person's honesty is reflected in their words and actions when no one is watching. Do they keep their promises even when no one reminds them? Are they truthful even when a lie would be more beneficial? When receiving praise, do they remain humble and acknowledge the contributions of others? Or do they let pride take over? And when faced with criticism, are they mature enough to listen, reflect, and improve? Or do they react defensively, with anger and excuses? More importantly, does their kindness genuinely come from the heart? Or is it merely a tool to gain recognition from others? Observe how they treat those with nothing to offer them in return. A waiter, a janitor, or a stranger in need. Do they extend the same respect and kindness to everyone? Or is their courtesy reserved only for those they wish to impress? A person's true nature is not defined by their grand moments in the spotlight, but by the choices they make every day. The small, repeated actions that shape who they are. It is in their unconscious habits, their instinctive reactions when no one is watching, that their character is most truthfully reflected. More importantly, is their kindness truly unconditional, or does it only appear when there is something to gain? Small actions. How they treat a service worker, pick up a piece of trash without being asked, or keep their promises even when no one is holding them accountable, serve as the clearest mirror of a person's integrity. Though seemingly insignificant, these actions are the very details that define a person's character. True character is not found in grand public moments, but in the quiet decisions made when no one is watching.